Hey guys, it's Brody, and I have some really exciting news. After nearly a year and a half, I'm finally going to get to go to another cubing competition. The competition I'm going to is called Copper Country Cubing Summer 2021, and it's in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on July 24th and 25th. Because I'm so excited about competing again after so long, I figured I would make a more classic cubing video, a mains and goals video for the competition. I'm also going to talk a bit about my mindset going into this competition and other things like that, so let's get into it. The events that they're doing at this competition are 3x3, 2x2, 4x4, 6x6, 3x3 blindfolded, 3x3 fewest moves, 3x3 one-handed, and 3x3 multi-blind. Out of those events, I'm going to compete in every single one except for multi-blind. So let's go through the cubes that I'm going to use and how I'm hoping to perform at the competition. Going in order from least important for me to most important, we'll start off with 3x3 blindfolded. I have not done a single blindfolded solve since my last competition in March of 2020, so it would be crazy of me to have high expectations for myself. I'd love to get my first 3-blind mean, but I think I would be happy if I got one successful attempt. As for my main, I'm probably going to use my Moyu Weilong WRM, just because that's my best 3x3 that doesn't have a logo on it. Next up in my order of priority is 6x6. I have done a few 6x6 solves in the past year, including some new PBs, but I haven't done any preparation for 6x6 for this competition, and I highly doubt that I will. And to be honest, if I'm worried about getting pain in my left index finger, which happens if I cube too much in one sitting or in one day, 6x6 is going to be my first event that I drop out of. But if I do compete in 6x6, I'm going to use my YJ MGC 6x6. I made a video last January about how much I liked this cube, and you can watch that by clicking the card in the top right. And as for times, I'm in a weird place where I might be able to PB, but all I can hope for is getting all 3 times under 3 minutes. After that, we have 3x3 fewest moves. Surprisingly enough, I really enjoy FMC, even though I don't know any techniques for it and I never practice it. In fact, I make a point of never practicing it. If I start refining my technique, I'm going to start having high standards for myself when I compete in it, and that just gives me more opportunities to get upset at myself when I compete. I have enough events where I care about performance, so I like having FMC as a casual experience. As the old joke goes, I don't have a main for FMC, as it is impossible to have one, but if I can beat my official PB single of 39 moves, I would be super happy. Next up, 2x2. 2x2 is an event that I'm always very good at even though I never practice it, which is really nice. That means that I can likely pull out a podium, but even if I don't, I'm not invested enough to care. The cube I use is the Angstrom Valk 2M, which you can get through a link in the description. By the way, when you get any of these cubes, you can use the discount code BrodytheCuber at thecubicle.com to get 5% off your order. For my goals, I think I would like to get a podium in 2x2, and if not, I'd at least like one sub 3 average. That shouldn't be too hard to do, unless the scrambles are really bad. Now we're getting to the really good events. The third most important event is 4x4. I haven't practiced a ton of 4x4 lately, but I did practice enough to get the sub 30 solve for that video I made a few months ago. At my last competition, I got a really insane 4x4 PB average that will be almost impossible for me to beat, but my PB single is at least possible to beat, although it's unlikely. I'm going to use my Angstrom Moyu Aosu GTS2M, and although a podium position is definitely possible, I'd be happy with any sub 40 average. The second most important event for me at this competition is 3x3 one-handed. Now, I need to be real with all of you. My OH practice has been really inconsistent for the past year. Between hardware issues, poor times making me lose motivation to practice, and intermittent hand pains, I will often go a month or 2 without practicing one-handed, then practice really hard for a couple weeks, and then repeat. Because of this, it's really hard to set goals for myself or predict how well I will do. I could get a 10-second average, or I could get a 15-second average, and there's no way of knowing which until it happens. It also doesn't help that there's only going to be one round of OH, which will make the competition even more volatile. I'm probably going to stick to my Valk 3M, which has been my OH main for several years now, and hope for the best. If I get a good average, I'll be ecstatic, and if not, I'll go back to the drawing board and keep practicing. I just want at least one really good solve, but no matter what happens, OH should be a very easy win or second place. And last, and definitely most important to me, is 3x3. After struggling for the past few months to deal with the Guhong V4M, I have finally given up on that cube completely, and I have switched my main to the Max GAM 356 XS. It doesn't feel as good as the Guhong V4 did, but I know that I can 100% trust it to stay together and not break, which is far more important. That's the simple part, but my goals for 3x3 are a bit more complex, so I'm going to go into a lot more detail than for other events. As you can tell from what you've been watching, my 3x3 practice at home has been going really well. When I get into the zone, I am frequently popping out low 7 and high 6 averages, and it feels amazing. In fact, part of the footage that you're watching right now is a 694 average of 12. If I can somehow get into the zone like this during an actual round of 3x3, I could do something incredible. A sub 7 official average isn't off the table, and that's my ultimate life goal for 3x3. The problem is that there's a huge difference between doing 3x3 solves at home and competing in 3x3 at a competition. Fighting my nervousness in competitions has been the biggest challenge of my cubing career, and doing so at my first competition in 16 months while I have the potential to do something unbelievable, I'm not feeling so great about my odds there. The other issue is that getting into the zone at a competition is going to be a million times harder than getting into the zone at home. Part of the reason why it's easy at home is that you're constantly solving, and there's no time in between to focus on anything else. At a real competition, there can be multiple minutes in between your attempts, which makes it way too easy to get distracted. It also doesn't help that the two biggest deterrents to getting into the zone, according to science, are distractions and stress, both of which there will be plenty of at this competition. With all of that in mind, I consider this competition to be a sort of experiment. It's my first competition in forever, so the stakes are never going to be lower than this. I might as well take the chance to test out some different techniques for controlling my nerves and use that knowledge to perform better in the future. If I can win or get a PB average, that would be amazing. But the most important thing for me right now is to figure out what works for me and what doesn't when I want to perform at my peak. So that's basically all I have to say about this competition. Because I am fully vaccinated and masks are required at the comp, don't be afraid to ask me for pictures or autographs at the competition. However, if you are eligible for the vaccine and you've refused to get it, I don't want anything to do with you, and I'd like you to stay far, far away from me. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a great day. This is Brody, signing out.